many X's, too many Y's in this game. Another kill. 3 hit the floor, and Orange Esports are pulling away with game 2. It looks like this is going to be a 1-1. For Zenith, the comeback mechanic just isn't really there. They're a lineup that's built on doing well through the laning stage. Oh, no, we'll talk about that later. Jump in. Again, they want Yamate. Open wounded up. On the chase is Ohio, but despite getting the bash, it's a bit far to dive. They might even force out a buyback if Zenith have any. Still chasing, still diving, XY to fall, and despite the BKB, this is going to be hard for Yamate. He does a lot of damage, almost kills off 2 cores, gets 1 support and a core in the end. Mushi's still trying to fight his way out of this one. Has a heart, though. This is going to be a tough nut to crack. He's on the chase. A leap from KYXY. Just cannot seem to land on these, and now Yamate caught, held in position. He'll Shadow Blade away. Or no, sorry, Nature's Guy's away, not Shadow Blade. So used to seeing that item on him. And end of the day, Mushi lost maybe half his health through all of that. That's problematic.
Yeah, Gyrocopter has some pretty good survivability and great movement speed. His Sanjin Yasha here actually kind of paid off. Huge movement speed. He does have MAME as well, and he juked around enough to stay alive. I've been really impressed with his play all game, actually. He's been playing really aggressive, but aggressively smart. He knows where he's safe and where he's not. He's been, I mean, his ally got jumped on, and he went aggressive, and he got 2 kills out of it and didn't die. And despite Orange being insanely farmed and scary, he was able to juke enough. So he's trying to hold this game together, and he's doing a pretty good job. But the Black Hole was good in the last fight, but it wasn't enough to get any kills.
Yeah, I mean, Burrow Strike, blink in on the mid lane from Ice. They'll be able to initiate here, but now KYXY is going to turn it around. Ice in trouble, dropping quickly to the Dark Pact. The Living Armor not doing a whole lot there. Mushi is coming in from the backside, and he'll jump in now. He finds Ice, burrows through, tries to live. Overgrowth, but he mantas out immediately. While this is happening, Yamate does manage to pick off that sad Crystal Maiden. Not the best game of Net's life, but hey, them's the breaks when you play Crystal Maiden. It's KYXY, who isn't done yet, actually leaps forward, but XY manages to blink and dodge away from it. Still, they're running. Even if their running is spectacular, it's not winning them the game. And now Mushi will start sieging.
Almost level 16 for Darks here. They're going to go in on XY again, but he is able to blink. Looking for
There's no black hole. It's just very hard to take this fight.
They can Midnight Pulse this, I guess.
You're stretching.
Yeah,
You're definitely stretching.
They're going to be in some trouble. Maleficent is a great disable, but they have 2 heroes that counter it quite heavily. One of which being Slark, the other of which being Lifestealer. If they can just counteract it with either Dark Pact or Rage, this really solid disable is going to be iffy. And Slark is still looking for pounces here. He picks up a Vlad's after his BKB so that he has more physical survivability. Especially because if you look at Slark's armor, it's actually quite low for an Agi hero. It ramps up heavily as he right-clicks and gets more Essence Shift, but right now it's not the best.
Yeah, that, and they have 3 melee cores. And it allows Mushi, he doesn't have to buy Vlad's, and he can still be a beastly tank in these fights. It suits their lineup well. And KYXY, his job isn't to get farmed this game. It's to be a distraction. It's to be a nuisance. And he's accomplishing both of those things with his item choices as well as his playstyle. I mean, we saw him earlier mid, like just after that fight happened. He's just hanging out near the tier 2, running up and down this ramp, delaying Zenith, preventing them from going Roche, preventing them from ganking Mushi. Speaking of Mushi, looking pretty effing pro now, up to 4.5k gold. He's going to be hard to kill. They'll have an engagement at the Roshan pick. KYXY, he gets hexed up by Ice Ice Ice. Cannot get his BKB off. Now he does, however. Looks like he's able to escape the blink-in black hole. It only catches Extinct. That's a bit of a wah-wah black hole. Is it going to hurt them in the end? Familiars are there. Good stuns. Now Mushi comes in. Head full of steam. Monovoid as well. Everybody low. Clean up in aisle 3. Crystal Maiden drops the ult. Yamate tries to TP out. Can't do it. He'll fall as well. And they are being absolutely torn to pieces here. Net with the slow. Can't get off a Frostbite. While this is happening, another teleport out. KYXY tried to pick off the Sand King. He gets away, but that was a big Monovoid.
Yeah, it really was. Enigma was missing almost all of his int when that ended up landing on him, so pretty good AoE coming out of that. That could have gone way worse for Zenith, by the way. 3 heroes limping back to base. And what's Orange going to do? They're going to take Roshan. They grab an Evil Song and Anti-Mage now, and as soon as this guy finishes the Butterfly, the game ends, basically. Gyrocopter is possibly going for an MKB, but I don't even think an MKB could win in the game. They need a Divine Rapier or something like that.
They need a Divine, and they need an MKB, because Mushi's about to get a Butterfly. So, in fact, has the gold for it now, in typical Mushi fashion. Not spending it until absolutely necessary. Engagement, though, near the tier 2 of the Dire side. Blink, or leap in from KYXY, gets rooted after his BKB, but Ohio's still fighting his way through this one. X-Freedom on the run. Mushi leaps forward, surges forward, once more kills, pops his Manta style. Monovoid is available if he wants to jump this. He'll back off, he'll try and catch the Stragglers. Ice trying to deny himself to neutrals, but can't do it in the end. This might be it for Zenith. Black Hole still on cooldown for 100 seconds. And it's going to be very, very hard to defend this push.
No kidding.
Especially if Mushi would buy his friggin' butterfly, but just refuses to do it.
It's fine, man. He saved up like 5,000 gold before he bought his heart. He's like, it's okay, I'm winning.
Yeah, I mean, end of the day, he probably doesn't need it. It's just me being a pain in the butt. Mushi will get hexed up, though. Any evasion he would have had is now removed, and, well, Malefist stunned, held in place. The rocket's going to connect as well. But while this is happening, they're taking the mid-racks. It's pretty good stall tactics. He's low, but he doesn't die. That's without the butterfly. Imagine if he had it. But end of the day, well, he'll come right back in bottom lane. And they take the tier 3 mid. Unless Orange decide to 5-man dive the fountain, this is pretty much over.
Yeah, that was so sick from the anti-mage. He was like, okay, I can blink, cancel. I'm going to stand over here in the corner, buy my team an extra 4 seconds, and then they take the tower mid. I mean, they're playing this style really, really well. It's very annoying to play against, I'm sure.
And Mushi, he'll push bottom lane back in. He'll pop the Manta. Living Armor, not really useful at this point, because just a few slashes from the anti-mage illusions remove it immediately, and they'll go in mid. It's just back and forth, whack-a-mole style, Rat Dota from Orange. And if they want a face rush, I think they could actually win a 5v5. Black Hole's still on cooldown, and without that, I just don't see Zen taking a fight. It's coming soon, though. Orange, there is no urgency for them. They will back off. If they want to farm for another 20 minutes, they can. But I feel like you're in a position now where you maybe get the Butterfly Mushi, save for make sure you buy back, maybe Boots of Travel on a few of those heroes, and you could just go end the game if you'd like.
Man, do they even need buyback? I just don't see them losing a team fight. I don't care what heroes Zenith has at this point. Their damage output just isn't there. I mean, Gyro even bought a Sanjin Yasha, which I think can be a possible usable item on Gyrocopter, but it is not an item that gives damage. It only gives you about 30 damage or something like that. 16 agility, 16 damage. 32 damage output out of this item. It could have been maybe the start of an MKB. He could have had an MKB earlier. I mean, I think the mobility helped him survive in some fights, but like, they just need a ton of damage to be able to pick off the anti-mage, and it's not here. Even if they get a 5-man black hole, I just don't see him getting kills.
And they find that, and they'll pick them off, but I love that plink. That's one of my favorite sound effects in Dota,
yeah, that's
too.
great.
I want to commend Mushi this game. Solo mid anti-mage against Enigma did get pulled a single set of tangos, but still, he is, or I believe it was a salve, actually, that he got pulled, but playing really, really well this game. Hasn't died. He's 4-0, and the other 4-0-8, and the other reason he hasn't died is they just don't have a good lineup for killing him. Now they have a Scythe of Ice and Darks here. Maybe a Blink Dagger comes soon for Ice, but again, it goes back to the draft for Zenith. They picked a lineup that had very minimal lockdown, so even though the anti-mage pick seemed greedy on paper, you see a support like Trant, and you just know, as soon as you see that hero picked, you know he's a support, and you know that means the enemy team is a support with crappy lockdown, which means if you want to go for something like anti-mage, it's much harder to punish it. And Zenith just have not been able to. Mushi's also kept his farm up. 425 CS, 38 minutes in. Pretty freaking good CS, considering that he was solo mid and he was ganking a lot early. And it was not even an early Battle Fury. He's done a fantastic job this game.
Yeah, he really has. He's got the buyback gold. That's no problem at all for him. Back on the top lane, we also have an Abyssal Blade finish for Lifesteal. He's comboed this with a Hyperstone to give him more bash proc chances as he attacks fast. But most importantly, the Abyssal Blade is going to be used most likely against the Gyrocopter. As he pops BKB, if he can just disable him and prevent him from doing damage at the crucial moment, I mean, that's their damage source. They've got Vacuum Wall and maybe a level 2 Epicenter, but it's all magical based at this point. All of the core heroes are going to be pretty much immune.
Yamate is really close to a Divine, and you mentioned maybe MKB, maybe Divine. I feel like it's got to be Divine because it's not just the AM you're worried about. It's the Lifestealer that you mentioned with the Abyssal Blade as well. You really need to kill both of them in that first volley of flat cannon attacks, or at least make them so unable to fight that they can't go. Bottom lane, though, there's a huge engagement. Mushi drops the Mana Void. It's the entire enemy team trying to bring him down, even with the Scythe, even with the Burrow. They can barely bring him to half HP. Gyro is truly their only damage, and until Yamate completes his Divine Rapier, he actually doesn't hit that hard. And they may even go under him. KYXY didn't leap, but pops the Dark Pact. They'll just chip away. Mushi taking the bottom racks while the rest of the team works mid, and now Ohio's going to try to isolate Yamate and pick him off. He pops Rage. He charges in. He abyssals XY and then runs away. Now will burrow through, catches KYXY mid lane, but he simply leaps away, and Mushi goes back in. Whack-a-mole. Which one are you going to go for? Mushi, they could maybe black hole this. It's available, but you got to make sure you get him. Overgrowth was dropped. Not able to catch Mushi. Ohio runs back bottom. This is infuriating. This is absolutely miserable. Zenith are probably face-palming so hard right now. Aegis even going to be reclaimed soon. Their base falling all around them. Mushi working on the range racks. As soon as they come in, he blinks out. There are no words to describe how mad they must be right now.
I feel like I'm watching a StarCraft 2 Pro match with two-prong drop harass where you poke in one way, escape, poke in another way, and just cause a lot of frustration in your opponents. But it's so hard to deal with these team fight lineups.
Welcome back to the Alienware Cup. I had to take a second to think there. Apparently I'm covering the MasterCard, of course, brought to you by Alienware. MasterCard, as you can see, and DPM Interactive, the tournament organizers. Group B now underway, and I seem to be losing hair. Unfortunately, you're not gaining it. Blitz was the hair sponge during TI3, but it seems to be going into something of a black hole now.
So you see this? I've been working on this for like, I want to say like 6 months. Nothing. It's like,
There's no hair there.
it's like slowly.
There's not even stubble.
Have you ever seen me with? One time, I grew facial hair for 18 years. I got like a little bit of a thing going, but it only goes in the sides, so I look super wise.
Did you have like one of those Wild West like, or no, not like the sensei mustache?
Yeah,
right?
that's the only way
twirl
that
the
Asian
ends.
mustaches grow.
Yeah.
It just like goes like this.
All right. If you ever get one, I think you can sell that to charity and you'll make a lot of money. But Group B, Alienware Cup. Let's take a look at the group standing, see where we are after our first best of two. I'll continue to hunch over as much as possible here. We need a shorter chair. Neolution Orange, Zenith, they played your first match of Group B. No forfeit so far, knock on wood. Hopefully that continues. It was 1-1. Both games were very one-sided going the way of the team that won, but I think we saw that Zenith, they've struggled a bit in their matches versus top-tier teams in past events, but they look strong today, and hopefully we'll see more good performances from them in the future. They'll be playing IG later today.
Yes, I'm really excited for that too. And you know what? Actually, what match I'm excited for the most, and I'm getting way ahead of myself, but IG versus Navi. And Ben will be here too. Merlini will be here. I'm super excited to see all that stuff happen.
Everyone's fighting over who's going to get to cast it too. It's pretty funny.
I'm the scrappiest one though, by default, because I'm the shortest, so I'll win that fight.
He's a slippery little sucker. But well, we have a best of three or best of two coming up now. We can take a look at the schedule, see the last two matches remaining for today. There we go. More hexagons. Fantastic. And it's going to be Tongfu versus Orange. We had this extra break to give Orange a chance to recuperate, and they'll be playing Tongfu, best of two format. Tongfu has been very strong when they played. They finished first in their Dota 2 Super League group. Zenith versus IG. This is going to be your final match of the day. Your predictions, Blitz, very quickly here. Thoughts on these matches?
For Tongfu versus Orange?
Just sort of thoughts, I guess. Thoughts on the matches.
When I see Tongfu play, it's really impressive. I think they're one of the first teams like that have they actually have a dedicated coach, right? They have an ex. I can't remember who it was.
I think you're thinking of LGD as Long DD.
Yeah, no. But I think Tongfu also has a coach.
They may.
Well, regardless.
I can't remember reading that.
Off topic. Tongfu just seems like they've kind of hit this another level, where they felt like kind of like the B team in China, but as of late, they kind of are showing why they deserve the spot in the international.
They added King J, they added Banana from For Love, and they've been a lot stronger since then. I feel like those roster changes have really helped them out. With that being said, let's actually preview the match that's coming up, introduce the teams a little bit, and talk more about the matchup. So for Tongfu, you have Hao. We've been talking a lot about hair, haircuts, appearances here on the show. I know the chat
Is
loves
that like
to.
a Skrillex thing? What's going on there?
Someone did horrible things to Hao's hair because he had like that anime kawaii hair, and now
How
it's just
did
a
that
mess.
happen? See, I'm gonna try to make puns out of all their names. Let's keep going. What else
That's
can we
an easy one. I've already beaten that horse to death. But Moo, your two position, he's been the one who I think has been playing the most dominant as of late.
Yeah, he's really strong. He's got good balance, like a cow. Get it? Moo. Let's keep going. What else can I do with this?
Oh, the three position player. It's King J. Many may remember him from the glorious run eHome had back in 2010. He was a part of that legendary roster, you might say. He's been around for a long time. He's a pretty good player.
I've got nothing.
That's all I got. I'll make a king out of you.
Oh my god, that was bad. Keep going.
You've got Banana. Will hopefully doesn't have a banana in his
He
pocket.
plays very slippery. You know, when he's peeled.
Wait, you said mine was bad?
That was fantastic.
You like New Year's was bad. I could hear how bad you thought
Okay, wait,
that
I've got a
was.
King... No, I still don't have a King J one. We'll go back to that one later.
Last but not least, Sang Sheng. He's been around this team for a long time, along with Hao, Mu, Sang Sheng. Is that a...
That is
Sounds like a dance, actually.
That is terribly unpunnable.
Sounds like salsa or something. Well, that's Tongfu. They have been one of the... Oh, God. Do we really know? Jesus.
Nice. Another team. Oh, okay, wait. Here we go, though. LGD International, they were actually all zeros last time, and they ended up winning it all.
Yeah, this is us This is us betting $322 on Tongfu right here.
Yeah, Tongfu's amazing.
They're a really solid team, especially, again, since the roster changes. We actually have rankings for them. Maybe try drawing this one again, because I am not sure why they're not showing up. Nope. Well,
It's okay.
Maybe
Well,
there's two Tongfus. Either way, that's neither here nor there. In fact, there are two Tongfus. That's why. Well, that's a problem. But we'll move along. We'll introduce RNG Sports. They played Zenith earlier today. They tied 1-1. We have KYXY. We've gotten these corrected at least. He's your one-position player. He's been playing that carry role for the most part. He used to be the sixth man for this team, but he's made his way onto the starting roster.
Yeah, and he's actually played really well from what I've seen. Just really stable. I think actually he's been playing the most consistently I've seen, aside from their mid player. And we're going to move along, introduce the mid. We've got Mushi.
The end god.
Yeah, he actually is playing really phenomenally lately.
Maybe we need to put Anti-Mage on here. Had a great performance earlier.
That mid anti-mage, yes. Continuing along. Got
Ohio. Yeah, the Ogre, as he calls himself. He is the gentle giant of this team. He's been all around the lanes. He's played solo mid for a while. He's playing carry for a little bit. Now he's on off-lane duty, and Windrunner by far his highest impact hero.
Yes.
As of late. He plays a mean Tinker, if anyone watched the GST challenge last December, but we haven't seen him playing solo mid in a long time. That was back when he was on MUFC. Extinct, your 4-position player. There should really be 3 Visages at this point.
It really feels
We need
like
to give him the XY treatment for Tinker.
Yeah. And last but not least, as you were going to say, is Net.
Yeah, I really say that a lot, don't I?
It's a good saying.
All my foibles. Net, yeah, your 5-position player, your 5.5, 6-position player, simply because he does not get any farm, and well, sometimes he buys back a lot. And RNG Sports, a solid, well-rounded team. It's a lot better than 6 zeros, isn't it?
Yeah, but the last time you gave a team 6 zeros, that was LGD International, and they ended up going 4-0 in their group. So maybe a little bit of a foreshadowing. Whoever you give all the zeros to. What?
We have a
there's
hexagon
Tongfu.
for Tongfu.
Wow, you rated them really highly.
I did, but they've been playing really well.
Yes.
Added King J, added Banana. They finished first in their Dota 2 Super League group. I believe they lost 1 match there, but they have been, as of late, they've also been beating most of the top teams in scrims, is the word on the street. So, well, we'll see if they deliver. They're definitely not as star-studded of a roster as some of these other teams like IG, Zenith, Navi, Orange have the bigger names, the bigger star power. But, end of the day, Tongfu's been playing better.
I still can't get over the fact that you just said word on the street.
Yeah. What? The streets of Dota. What? I don't have a problem with that.
What a player. All right, so predictions.
Okay, Tongfu. I think it'll be 1-1. Orange is a tough team to play against because of their individual skill. I mean, especially Mushi. If he wins his lane, well, it's hard to deal with that. So I feel like a lot of these games will come down to the draft. And for RNG Sports, if they get that right kind of draft, where Mushi can snowball early and just sort of get the ball rolling and pull his team to victory, if they can get, say, a Windrunner for Ohio in the off lane, I think this game they'll at least be able to take one, but I think it'll be a 1-1 tie between these two teams.
That's a safe answer, LD, and I don't play it safe. 2-0, Tongfu. You
All
like
right.
that? I'm probably this is gonna fail terribly in my face.
If you're going to pick any team to 2-0, I would pick Tongfu. I'd be very surprised if Orange takes them out 2-0, but well, we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen with the predictions out of the way. I think we actually have a little bit of time here. The players are starting to join the lobby. They're not ready yet. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be live with Tongfu versus Orange, a best of 2. Fire LD.
Hey guys, welcome back. This is Blitz and Purge Team Hoodie, ready to go for the next set. Are you excited, man?
I'm very excited, Kevin. Let's
Wow,
get
you're
into this
actually
game.
excited. You're legitimately
No,
excited.
I'm not very excited, but we'll get into the. Dude, it's because I can't grow hair and it's so cold. But
It was pretty cold. Orange and
freezing.
Tongfu is what we're about to watch, guys. It's going to be a best of 2 between these two teams. Orange has already played 2 matches earlier tonight. And, what? Oh, LD Dota? David Gorman. Yep. David.
I can't
Team
even.
Hoodie.
I can't even do a LD. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow, that was really good. I heard the inflection. That's because, like, you try to sleep and you could just hear it. It just, like,
LD's just
seeps into you.
He
That's
heard
all.
me. It was good, right? It was smooth. Yeah, dude, I can actually do everybody's.
Does that mean we also fire him when we fire LD?
Hashtag
How does
fire
this-
LD
how does
underscore
this-
blitz.
How does this work? I don't know. Is this going to overlap? So anyways, Orange played 2 matches already tonight. They played against Zenith. They went 1-1, so a decent start for them, getting 1 win under the belt. But Tongfu has been on a hot streak lately. They are a super talented team, and can they do the same? What do you think?
I think so. If I was, I mean, I did pick Tongfu to win, right?
Really?
Oh, did you actually have a prediction, Kevin? Let's hear it. Let's get you on the line too.
Me on the line for this match. I could throw out some random numbers and sound like I'm informed, but I'm not informed. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I really don't know how this is going to go. Orange looked really sloppy the last... Well, alright. They had a really good game 2. I have not covered Tongfu. That's my problem. So Orange looked really good game 2. Game 1, they looked pretty sloppy, like moderately sloppy. Tongfu in the past has been really strong at various points, so I would say, like, my gut feeling is Tongfu has a better chance to win this, but I guess I'm just going to be safe and go 1-1.
Okay.
But I think Tongfu is better.
Orange, though,
Guessing.
they did pick up the anti-mage. I wonder if that's going to be another anti-mage mid. I mean, it seemed to work out quite well for them last time, but they do have a Bat Rider, a hero that has seen some nerfs as of late. The Firefly doesn't give as much vision as it once did, but still a really good hero just for the initiate alone. The fact that you can lock up a hero that gets a BKB, and that's Gyrocopter.
Yeah, it's definitely very useful. I feel like the anti-mage was only put mid just because the enemy team had a Darkseer and they didn't want to put their lanes to be really crappy, you know? They didn't want to put, like, Lifestealer versus the Darkseer. That was the easiest way to shift things around, is do, like, the aggressive trialing and then, like, throw the anti-mage mid. I mean, I felt like that was... I don't really expect to see that more, is what I'm trying to say. I feel like the anti-mage
Oh yeah,
mid
it's
was kind of
definitely
a
not a
fluke.
trend. It was kind of like a cute thing that happened though. Queen of Pain though is going to be picked up, and that's actually the hero that is going to go mid. And anti-mage, that's obviously not a mid anymore. And
Yeah.
I imagine that the Bat Rider's an off lane, and what they're really lacking right now is supports. And Tongfu realizes that, going to ban out that Rubik, doing a good job of target firing bans.
Wow. Interesting pick here for Tongfu. They're going to grab a Silencer up for their 4th pick. Previous to the Silencer, there weren't that many good ways for Tongfu to deal with the anti-mage. Earthshaker obviously has a ton of stuns, but at least in the early game, you can't expect him to do that much more than just Fissure. So Earthshaker as a hero brings the stuns, but nobody else on Tongfu does. And that was one of the problems of Orange versus Zenith earlier tonight, was that anti-mage was impossible to kill, basically. Like, he got his pretty decent early game off. Once he grabbed a Manta, it was relatively difficult to kill him, and once he got a heart, it was over. There was no way he was going to die, so Tongfu is going to counter this slightly by having a Silencer pick up at least. So they're going to have a Silence, they're going to have a Global Silence, and a little bit of pure damage as well, which is going to help.
Yeah, I actually like Silencer as a support. We saw him quite a bit during
Crazy.
the Eastern Qualifier. When he was actually picked by LGD.
Oh yeah,
China.
against the tri-lane, right?
Yeah,
That
it's
was
actually
pretty cool.
It's actually quite decent because the global silence, right? It goes through the BKB. If you can wait a little bit, I think for Tongfu, the signal will be once the bat grips somebody, then you just global silence, right? Because then there'll be no follow-up, and you'll be able to protect.
Yeah.
Also, it's really good because if the Queen of Pain opts to get a BKB, then you can still silence her and make her ineffective.
Yeah.
And in general, it's a really good defensive spell too. It's one of those abilities that it's kind of difficult to mess up in the sense that, you know, you just have to kind of wait for some key moments because you can use it really easily offensively and defensively, right? Like when your team goes in and commits to a fight, you just pop the global, and it should be a one fight because it essentially makes the supports completely useless.
You're assuming that the Silencer hits level 6 at a reasonable time, which you never really know, man. I guess if he's pulling, but I guess Earthshaker doesn't need levels that bad, so you could give him the Silencer instead, but...
It is a bit of a greedy support. Just because you don't really have a disable, you're kind of relying on the global silence as a team fight. But Last Word is also incredibly useful against a hero like Queen of Pain. It makes it so that you can't chain spells. Same with Anti-Mage early until he gets a Blink Dagger. And it also is really effective against Bat Rider as well. But Obsidian Destroyer going to be picked up. I really like that hero in general. It's really kind of seen a rise. I know in the Southeast Asian scene there was a player named Silvercross that used to play it a lot. I was a really big fan of, but Obsidian Destroyer, really excited to see that hero in general. Really good team fight potential just because of that ultimate that does huge damage.
Yeah.
But the knock on him has always been, the laning has been kind of wonky, and it's difficult to gank for him. But it doesn't really seem like, you know, they have the ganking lineup as it is.
I'm a little also surprised about the Sven pickup in this game. He's going to be played support. This is Net playing him, who is their typical support player. That's a Sven supporting a anti-mage with a jungling enchantress, and that's going to be versus an offlane Darkseer. I'm honestly super curious why they grabbed a Sven over other choices. I mean, the 2-second stun is great and all, but he doesn't have a big mana pool, and this guy absolutely needs mana to be able to get his nukes off. And I mean, Warcry is great as well, but a support as well isn't going to get that much EXP. What do you feel about the Sven pick? I feel like it's super out of place.
I think it was more just because a lot of the supports were already off the map, as in, you know, they weren't really left with a whole lot of options.
Gotcha.
Just because, you know, they picked their 3 solos and then they didn't manage to pick up any sort of support in between that. So I'm actually getting a bug where I can't see my mouse half the time. But okay, so Orange is leading the series 3-2. I don't actually know how recent that was and all that jazz. But are you able to click on the heroes?
Yes,
Like
I
actually
am.
just
I am
click?
one of the privileged few.
No, not without having